The door slammed shut with a force that rattled the cheap IKEA shelves, and Madison's backpack hit the floor like a declaration of war. "This is bullshit, Jordan. You can't just claim the bottom bunk because you got here first." Jordan spun around, her eyes flashing like lightning over the Manhattan skyline outside their NYU dorm window, and shot back. "Watch me hotshot. I've got seniority in this program, and I'm not sleeping on that death trap top bunk just to stroke your ego." Madison had always been the type to charge headfirst into battles she knew she could win. At 25, she was a second-year grad student in NYU's English department, a teaching assistant who commanded her freshman lit classes with the precision of a surgeon wielding a scalpel. Her students adored her for her sharp wit and unapologetic passion for queer literature. But her peers knew better. Madison didn't yield. Not in debates, not in relationships, and certainly not in something as petty as dorm assignments. The mix-up had started innocently enough. Due to a housing crunch after a pipe burst in the main grad residence hall, Madison and Jordan Hayes, another TA from the same department, had been shoved into a temporary double in the undergrad towers. The room was a relic from the 70s. Peeling posters of old Broadway shows on the walls, a view of the bustling East Village below, and one rickety bunk bed that screamed lawsuit waiting to happen. The email from housing had been curt. "Share amicably." But amicable wasn't in either woman's vocabulary. Jordan, 26 and hailing from a small town in upstate New York, had clawed her way to NYU on scholarships and sheer grit. She taught creative writing sections with a flair that turned even the most apathetic undergrads into budding poets. Her own poetry was raw, infused with the ache of a closeted youth in a conservative family, but she wore her confidence like armor. Top energy, her exes had called it. Always the one in control, never the one to bend. That first night, the air crackled with tension as they unpacked. Madison tossed her duffel onto the top bunk, claiming it with a smirk. "Fine, if you're so territorial about the bottom, I'll take the high ground. But don't come crying when you hear me creaking around up there." Jordan rolled her eyes, folding her clothes with deliberate slowness. "As if I'd lose sleep over you. Just keep your late-night study sessions quiet. Some of us have actual lesson plans to prep." The bickering escalated quickly. Mornings became a minefield. Madison's alarm blaring hip-hop at 6 a.m., Jordan retaliating with her coffee grinder whirring like a chainsaw. Evenings devolved into passive-aggressive notes on the mini-fridge. "Your yogurt expired. Threw it out. You're welcome." But beneath the snipes, something simmered. Madison caught herself stealing glances at Jordan's focused expression during department meetings, the way her fingers danced over her laptop keys like they were composing a symphony. Jordan, for her part, found Madison's unfiltered rants about patriarchal tropes in Shakespeare oddly endearing. One rainy Tuesday, after a grueling day of grading midterms, they collided in the room. Madison, drenched from forgetting her umbrella, stripped off her soaked jacket, revealing a tattoo of a phoenix rising on her shoulder. Jordan paused mid-sentence in her Zoom call with a student, her gaze lingering a beat too long. "You look like a drowned rat," she teased, but her voice lacked its usual bite. "Better than looking like a control freak," Madison shot back, but she smiled. A real one, not the sarcastic curl she usually deployed. They ended up sharing takeout from the halal cart downstairs, talking shop over falafel wraps. "You know, your approach to Wolf is brilliant," Jordan admitted, wiping sauce from her chin. "Makes me rethink my syllabus." Madison felt a warmth spread that had nothing to do with the spicy harissa. "Coming from you? That's high praise. Your poetry prompts are gold. My students rave about the crossover sessions." For a moment, the bunk bed loomed forgotten in the corner, a symbol of their forced proximity turning into something voluntary. But as the night wore on, old habits resurfaced. Jordan climbed into the bottom bunk first, stretching out possessively. "Night roomie," Madison huffed, scaling the ladder. "Whatever. Don't hog the outlet." Little did they know, this fragile truce was the calm before the storm. Whispers in the department hinted at a coveted fellowship. One spot for a TA to assist the chair on a major queer-lit anthology. Both Madison and Jordan were frontrunners, their applications glowing with promise. The competition would test not just their intellects, but the budding connection neither was ready to name. As weeks blurred into mid-semester chaos, The dorm became a pressure cooker. Madison's ex, Mia, a fiery adjunct from Columbia, started texting again, stirring up old jealousies. Jordan overheard a late-night call, Madison's laughter echoing from the top bunk. Mia? Yeah, she's persistent. But we're done mostly. Jordan's stomach twisted, though she couldn't pinpoint why. She buried herself in work, but the seed of doubt took root. Was Madison playing the field? And why did it matter? The first crack appeared during a department mixer at a cozy bar in Greenwich Village. Amid clinking glasses and academic banter, the chair pulled them aside. Both of you are stellar, but the fellowship demands collaboration. Show me you can work together on a joint presentation next week. Madison grinned, bumping Jordan's shoulder. Team up? This could be fun. Jordan nodded, but her smile didn't reach her eyes. Later, as they walked back to the dorm under twinkling string lights, she confronted it. You still talk to Mia? Thought that was over. Madison shrugged. Jealous much? It's nothing. But it wasn't nothing. The next day, Mia showed up at NYU's library, just to say hi. Jordan spotted them laughing over coffee, and something snapped. Back in the room, she exploded. If you're entertaining exes, fine, but don't drag that drama here. I've got enough on my plate. Madison's face hardened. Drag drama? You're the one who's been icing me out since the fellowship news. Afraid I'll outshine you. The argument spiraled, voices rising until the RA knocked on the door. They slept in silence that night, the bunk bed a chasm between them. Yet, in the quiet hours, reflection crept in. Madison stared at the ceiling, realizing her flirtation with Mia was a shield against vulnerability. Jordan, curled below, admitted to herself that her control issues stemmed from past heartbreaks. Always the top, never the one left behind. The joint presentation loomed, forcing them to collaborate. Hours in the stuffy study lounge turned tense debates into electric synergy. Your take on Audre Lorde complements mine perfectly, Madison said one night, their knees brushing under the table. Jordan's breath caught. Yeah? Maybe we're not so different. As the deadline approached, a betrayal loomed. Unbeknownst to Madison, Jordan had submitted a solo proposal for the fellowship, hedging her bets out of fear. When Madison discovered the email trail on Jordan's open laptop, innocently while borrowing it for printing, the fallout was seismic. You went behind my back? Madison's voice cracked, betrayal etching her features. Jordan paled. I panicked. Thought you'd do the same. The room felt smaller, the bunk bed a monument to their fractured trust. But in that moment of raw honesty, something shifted. Tears fell, apologies tumbled out, and for the first time they saw each other, not as rivals but as mirrors of their own fears. The presentation day dawned crisp and clear, the kind of autumn morning in New York where the leaves in Washington Square Park glowed like embers. Madison and Jordan arrived at the lecture hall separately, each nursing the wounds from the night before. The audience, faculty, fellow TAs, and eager undergrads, buzzed with anticipation. The topic, queer narratives in modern American literature, power dynamics and subversion. Madison took the podium first, her voice steady despite the storm inside. In the works of Alison Bechdel and Sarah Schulman, we see characters who refuse traditional roles, much like the bunk bed in our own lives. Someone's always on top, but what if neither wants to be bottom? The metaphor drew chuckles, but Jordan flinched, knowing it was no accident. When Jordan joined her, their slides synced seamlessly, arguments weaving like a dance. Power isn't about dominance, Jordan added, glancing at Madison. It's about balance, vulnerability. Lorde's essays teach us that true strength lies in mutual surrender. The Q&A was electric, questions probing their chemistry. How did you two collaborate so well? A professor asked. Madison hesitated, then smiled faintly. By fighting over a dorm bed, and realizing we're both too stubborn to lose. Laughter rippled, but the truth hung heavy. They aced it, the chair nodding approvingly. Impressive. The fellowship decision is imminent. Back in the dorm, the high faded into awkward silence. Jordan broke it first. About that email. I withdrew the solo app this morning. It was a mistake. Madison sank onto the bottom bunk, Jordan's territory, rubbing her temples. Why'd you do it? Afraid I'd take the spotlight. Jordan sat beside her, their thighs touching. Afraid of this. I've always been the one in control because letting go means getting hurt. My last relationship ended when I tried to be softer. Madison turned, their faces inches apart. Me too. Mia wanted me to be the bottom, vulnerable, open. I bolted. But with you it's different. You're like me, fierce, unyielding. It scares me how much I want to yield, just a little. The confession hung in the air, charged with possibility. Jordan's hand found Madison's, fingers interlacing. Maybe we don't have to fight for top. Maybe we share it. That night they talked until dawn, peeling back layers. Jordan shared stories of her rural upbringing, the isolation of being the only out lesbian in her high school. Madison opened up about her immigrant parents' expectations, how academia became her rebellion. The bunk bed, once a battleground, became a confessional. But peace was fleeting. The fellowship email arrived 2 days later. Jordan won. Madison's heart sank, not from jealousy but fear. Congrats, she said flatly, packing her notes. Jordan's joy soured. This doesn't change us. Doesn't it? You'll be the chair's right hand. I'll be left behind. The argument reignited, accusations flying. You're pulling away because you can't handle not being on top. Jordan yelled. And you're gloating because you finally won. Madison retorted. In truth, Madison had been offered a similar opportunity at Columbia. Mia's influence pulling strings, but she hadn't mentioned it, fearing it looked like retreat. When Jordan found out via a mutual friend, the betrayal mirrored her own earlier sin. You were going to leave without telling me? Jordan's voice broke. Madison's eyes welled. I didn't want to hurt you. Or admit I need you. The confrontation peaked in the park, benches slick with fallen leaves. They screamed, cried, then collapsed into each other's arms. We're idiots, Jordan whispered. Both too proud to bottom, but maybe that's what makes us perfect. Reconciliation came slowly, over coffee and walks along the Hudson. They decided to apply for shared housing off campus, turning the dorm debacle into a funny anecdote. The fellowship? Jordan negotiated to include Madison as a collaborator, proving their partnership. As winter blanketed the city, their bond deepened. No more exes lurking, no secrets. They attended poetry slams in Brooklyn, debated lit theory in cozy cafes, and shared the bed. Not bunked, but side by side in their new place. Yet drama lingered. A department scandal erupted. The chair was accused of favoritism, tied to Mia's meddling. Rumors swirled that Madison's Columbia offer was tainted. Jordan stood by her, testifying in the inquiry. Our work speaks for itself. Love doesn't play favorites. The resolution was bittersweet. The chair stepped down. The anthology project revamped under new leadership. Madison and Jordan co-led it, their names intertwined on the cover. In the end, they realized neither had to be bottom, they could switch, share, evolve. It was human, messy, beautiful. But life threw one last curve. Jordan's family, long estranged, reached out after reading her published poem about forgiveness. A tense Thanksgiving in upstate tested their bond, old wounds reopening. Madison supported her, holding her hand through awkward dinners. We're in this together. No tops, no bottoms, just us. The visit ended with tentative healing, Jordan's mom whispering, "She's good for you." Back in the city, under holiday lights, they kissed on a snowy street. To not fighting over beds, Madison toasted. To sharing them, Jordan replied. Their story wasn't a fairy tale, no perfect bows. But it was real, laced with drama and depth, proving that in love surrender isn't weakness, it's strength. Spring brought renewal to NYU's campus, cherry blossoms dusting the quad like confetti. Madison and Jordan's off-campus apartment in the village was a haven. Exposed brick walls adorned with queer art posters, a queen bed that symbolized their compromise. No more bunks, just equality, or as close as two strong-willed women could get. Their collaboration on the anthology flourished. Your chapter on intersectionality is fire, Jordan said one evening, editing over pizza. Madison leaned in, stealing a kiss. Yours on poetic resistance? Pure genius. But shadows crept in. Mia, undeterred by rejection, started a whisper campaign in academic circles, insinuating Madison had used connections for opportunities. At a conference in Chicago, the rumors hit hard. A colleague cornered Madison. "Heard you poached that Columbia spot from someone deserving." Jordan overheard, her face flushing with rage. On the flight home, she fumed. "We confront her. Together." Madison shook her head. "It's petty. Let it go." But Jordan couldn't. She emailed Mia demanding a meeting. "This ends now." The confrontation unfolded in a neutral cafe near Union Square. Mia arrived smug, latte in hand. "Jealous I still have pull?" Jordan's voice was steel. "Leave Madison alone. Your games are pathetic." Mia laughed. "Or what? You'll out-top me." Madison, who had insisted on coming, interjected. "Mia, we were toxic. I chose Jordan because she's real, not manipulative." The exchange escalated, old grievances aired. Mia stormed out, but not before dropping a bomb. "Enjoy your fellowship, until they audit it for conflicts of interest." Panic set in. Back home, Jordan confessed her lingering insecurity. "What if she's right? Our relationship could tank our careers." Madison pulled her close. "Then we fight. Side by side." The audit came swiftly, department heads scrutinizing their work. Tensions mounted. Late nights turned argumentative. "You're micromanaging again," Madison snapped during a revision session. "And you're deflecting because you're scared," Jordan countered. The climax hit at a faculty hearing. Mia testified virtually, painting them as biased collaborators. But their prepared defense, backed by endorsements from students and peers, shone. "Our personal lives enhance our scholarship," Jordan argued. "Queer stories thrive on authenticity." Madison added, "We've subverted power dynamics in our work and lives." That's the point. They won, the audit cleared. Mia faded into irrelevance, transferring to another university. Relief brought intimacy. A weekend getaway to the Catskills. Hiking trails, cozy cabins, stargazing. "Remember our first fight?" Madison mused by the fire. Jordan chuckled. "Over a bed. Now look at us." Deeper conversations emerged. Jordan admitted dreams of writing a novel about their journey. Madison shared fears of burnout. "I don't want to lose myself in academia." "Then don't," Jordan said. "We'll balance it with each other." Summer interlude. Internships pulled them apart. Madison in D.C. for a lit policy think tank. Jordan in L.A. workshopping scripts. Distance tested them. Video calls filled with longing. "Miss your stubborn ass," Madison teased. "Miss topping your arguments," Jordan replied. A midsummer visit reignited sparks. But upon return, Jordan found an old journal of Madison's, entries praising Mia's commanding presence. Insecurity flared. "Am I just a replacement?" Madison was horrified. "No, that was past. You're my present." The misunderstanding led to a tearful reconciliation, reinforcing their bond. As fall semester loomed, they mentored a young queer student facing family rejection, echoing Jordan's past. Guiding her through it brought purpose, a human element to their drama-filled lives. Their story, rich with conflict and emotion, taught them that love isn't about dominance. It's about partnership, forgiveness, growth. The anthology's launch party was a triumph, held in a chic Soho gallery amid clinking champagne flutes and glowing reviews. Madison and Jordan stood arm in arm, fielding congratulations. "You two are the dynamic duo," the new chair beamed. But success bred envy. A rival TA, envious of their spotlight, leaked doctored emails suggesting plagiarism in their work. The scandal hit academic Twitter like wildfire. Hashtags trending. NYU Litgate. Jordan woke to notifications, her heart pounding. "This is bullshit. We have to sue." Madison, ever the strategist, calmed her. "First trace it, then counter." Investigations revealed the rival's hand, motivated by a spurned advance on Jordan years prior. The department rallied, but the damage lingered. Funding paused, reputations tarnished. In the eye of the storm, their relationship strained. Jordan withdrew, burying herself in revisions. Madison pushed for openness. "Don't shut me out. We're in this bunk together, metaphorically." A heated argument in their apartment. "You're acting like I'm the enemy," Jordan yelled. "Because you're pulling away, like you did with the fellowship," Madison retorted. The fight peaked with Jordan storming out, wandering the rainy streets. She ended up at a lesbian bar in Hell's Kitchen, nursing a drink. A familiar face approached Mia of all people. "Heard about the mess. Need a shoulder?" Jordan rebuffed her. "I'm taken. And happy." The encounter clarified everything. She rushed home finding Madison curled on the couch. "I'm sorry. Fear makes me controlling." Madison embraced her. "We both do it. Let's vow. No more secrets, no more tops." They lawyered up, clearing their names. The rival was dismissed, integrity restored. The experience forged them stronger, their anthology becoming a bestseller in queer studies. Personal growth followed. Madison pursued therapy for her abandonment issues. Jordan reconnected with family, inviting them to a reading. Awkward at first, but her mom's hug said volumes. A proposal came unexpectedly. Jordan on one knee during a picnic in Central Park. "Marry me? We'll share the top forever." Madison's yes was tearful, joyous. Wedding planning added light drama. Venue disputes, family dynamics. But it culminated in a rooftop ceremony overlooking the skyline. Vows promising equality. Post-honeymoon in Provincetown, they balanced careers with life. Jordan's novel, inspired by their story, got optioned. Madison launched a podcast on queer lit. Challenges persisted. A job offer for Jordan in Seattle threatened relocation. "I won't go without you," she said. Madison countered. "Then we both go. Adventure awaits." They moved west, embracing change. In their new home, overlooking Puget Sound, they reflected. "From dorm fights to this," Madison marveled. Jordan smiled. "Proof that neither bottoming means we both win." Their tale, laced with betrayal and redemption, ended not in tragedy but hope, human resilience in love's complex dance. Settling in Seattle brought fresh starts. Misty mornings, coffee culture, a vibrant queer scene. Jordan's novel, Bunked Hearts, hit shelves, a fictionalized account of two TAs clashing into love. Reviews praised its authenticity. A raw exploration of power in lesbian relationships, dramatic, heartfelt. Madison's podcast thrived, interviewing authors nationwide. They co-taught online courses, their synergy undeniable. But life tested them anew. Jordan's health scare. A benign lump, but terrifying, forced vulnerability. "I can't control this," she admitted in the waiting room. Madison held her. "You don't have to. I'm here." Recovery strengthened them, Jordan learning to lean, Madison to support without dominating. Family integration deepened. Madison's parents visited from Chicago, initially stiff but warming to Jordan's charm. "She makes you happy," her dad conceded over dim sum. A surrogacy journey added layers. Deciding to start a family, they navigated agencies, emotions swirling. "Who carries?" became a joke but underscored their equality. The process was grueling, setbacks, heartaches, but culminated in twins. Parenthood shifted dynamics. Sleepless nights, shared duties. "We're both tops at diaper changes," Madison quipped. Professionally, they co-authored a sequel anthology, focusing on family and queer narratives. It won awards, solidifying legacies. Reflecting on their path, from NYU's cramped dorm to Seattle's spacious home, they marveled at growth. Betrayals, fellowships, scandals had been crucibles, forging unbreakable bonds. One evening, watching the sunset, Jordan said, "We never settled who was bottom." Madison laughed. "And we never will. That's our magic." Their story, spanning coasts and years, embodied American resilience. Immigrants' daughters finding love amid chaos, proving humanity in imperfection. In the end, it wasn't about winning. It was about loving fiercely, humanely, without surrender.